Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. My name is Matt Hopkins. Tonight I'm joined by Tim Full-Timmy Myers
Howdy.
and Nick Yanatola.
Hey guys.
All right, tonight we're going to be answering your shooting questions. Got this first one off Facebook. What inspires you guys to shoot a local match versus another? Say they're on the same weekend, same day. What makes you choose one or the other? Is it that... Would it be the stage design, the props, the number of stages, the level of competition that is usually there? What do you guys choose to shoot a local over another, if you have the options? Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, so I guess the primary things that I look for in a club match, and I'm pretty fortunate in that I have a good club really close by, and then I got probably a couple more. Pretty good clubs as well within an hour and a half or so if I want to branch out. But the two things that I like to see are quality stage design and a good high level of competition. And then also, I guess this kind of goes without saying, but obviously I want them to operate within the competitive rules and have the match still operate in a fair manner. Even though it's you call it just a local, but that's also key. It has to be competitively consistent. So what I mean by good stage design, I mean like I like to have stages that have that ideally are going to challenge you mentally a little bit. They're going to give you some options. I think that's one place where a lot of local matches kind of fall down a little bit. I find that they're a lot more linear than majors in terms of the stage planning. So if I can find a club match that's gonna have some shooting options that I have to work through, and then it's gonna have other good shooters present to compete against, and is run fairly, then whatever match is kind of the best, I judge to be the best in those categories, is probably gonna be the one I choose to shoot if all else is equal.
All right, sounds good. Tim, you got anything?
Yeah, but it's not as in-depth as his. Damn. So, okay, I'm a little ruined because I helped run a club for a while, and I got really tired of getting there at 7 a.m. and setting up stages and trying to perform the day of. So I really like to shoot clubs where I don't have to do anything. All else being equal, obviously, I like good stages, but if I have, say, a match that's 2 hours away and another one's 2 hours away and there's more heat at one, I'm going to go to where the heat is. If the heat's the same, I'm going to go to where the better stages are. So there's kind of a priority list there, right? So distance, distance is a big one. I mean, do I have to drive? Yeah, do I have to drive 30 minutes or 2 hours?
Yeah.
Or an hour, right? I mean, there's limits there. Who's going to be there? Does the match flow well?
You mean like not a lot of bottlenecks or anything? You're not waiting too
long to shoot? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that kind of goes with low effort. If they don't put a lot of effort in, then you'll have issues with calibration or, props not working properly, things not being consistent. But, yeah. So it's not really one thing, but I would say definitely high on that list is who typically goes to the match. That'll help determine which match I go to, given they're on the same day.
Let me ask you this: is the priority list any different for a local than it is for a major?
No, not really.
Because when
no, it's the same. It really is the same, though.
It's really the same kind of list of priorities.
It is the same.
It's just a balance of all those factors and what appeals to you personally.
It is. It is like if I don't like the style of match that much in a major, I'm thinking. If I'm not really big into the style of match, but there's a lot of people there I want to shoot with or against, then I'll probably go regardless, for the heat. But, yeah. Some of those matches I care slightly less about because I just like the style of match. I like the challenge. But, yeah, I agree with you. The priority is pretty much the same, for sure.
Just a different
That's
scale.
Interesting look. Truthfully, on the local side, it's distance first, because that equates to time. Like if you drive 2 hours compared to 30 minutes, that's an extra 3 hours on your day that you have. And we don't really have too many matches that are overlapping here. There's only one that would overlap, and it's a significant time difference. But that match is so much better because it has more stages. Stages are different than that are normally put on by other regular matches. And it's something that I'd rather shoot. Plus, there's no setup or teardown. So, I mean, that all adds into the time. So, time's a big thing on local. On major matches, it would be like the match atmosphere or something. Like, I think we've talked about this once before, like the stages overwhelmingly, or the match format take a lot of precedence over anything else for me.
Okay, so what if it's let's say you have a ProAm steel match, a steel challenge, and then a USPSA match, and you have your option of shooting any of those, and they're all the same distance. What is it then?
ProAm, USPSA, then steel challenge. Easy.
Okay, interesting. So that does matter a lot to you then, the format, that is.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's only one Pro-Am match within, like, 3 hours, so a Pro-Am match 3 hours away or a USPSA match 30 minutes away?
Yeah. Oh, really? Wow, you like it
that
that
would be
much.
Interesting.
See, we have a monthly Pro-Am style match here, and I could skip that and shoot a USPSA match the next day. I don't get to shoot as much as you guys do. Typically
you get
once
out
a
what days on the weekend?
No way, dude. But I can typically get it out one day. So like I'll choose that match. I mean, it's run extremely well. It's fun. It shreds me every time. It makes me feel terrible about my shooting, but it motivates me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like it. I'm with you. I really dig that style of match. I think that there should be more of them. But that's interesting that you would travel that much further. I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would go 3 hours.
I don't know if I would. That would be a tough decision.
I mean, 2 hours is like. I'm real lazy, man. Like that's.
It depends on what time of year it is too.
Yeah.
Like if I'm prepping for a Pro-Am match, I'm gonna go shoot the next in 3 weeks. I'm gonna choose a Pro-Am match over it. Or if I'm gonna practice for USPSA Nationals, I'm gonna shoot the USPSA match. You know, kind of goes in that flavor.
Are you the same way, Nick?
Yeah, I guess so. I've actually I've never driven more than an hour and a half one way for a club match. Now that I think about it, that's it. Like that's my limit.
I haven't either, honestly.
Up till now. Yeah, I'm not saying I never would.
Yeah.
In fact, I might here shortly, but I never have before. So.
Does cost have anything to do with it? In anybody's opinion here?
Like the match fee?
Yeah, match fee.
Nah, not really.
No, not for me. It'd have to be a lot of money for it to matter. It had to be like a $50 club match for me to be hemming and hawing about it. But if I could pay $35 and not have to reset or paste or tear down or anything, I'd pay it.
I do that every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cheaper than the greens fee at a golf course, dude.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting is I find out at a local level, like match instructors get kind of concerned about match price. Like they're like, oh, people are gonna get mad if they have to pay $25 instead of $20. I'm like, I guess, but I don't agree with that. I shoot all kinds of matches from $15 to $25, and I don't ever hear anybody complaining about it. I mean, people pay it; they still shoot.
Oh, I hear people complain about it. I'm just saying it doesn't matter to me personally. Yeah, I've heard.
But is that IDPA?
I've heard it a little on both, but I've been an IDPA match director for quite a while, and I've definitely, had people I wouldn't say they were, bitching about it, but they were expressing that the match fee does matter to them. So,
interesting.
I think it usually, in my experience, that kind of comes from, a category of shooter that's more, probably less serious than the group here, or even vast majority of the listeners. So, they're trying to decide whether they want to shoot the match or go to the mall that day or whatever. So it's not, they're people that are price sensitive. I think they're probably just not prioritizing their shooting as highly as.
I've heard it. I've heard it sway one person of not showing up to a match because they didn't lower the fees, and truthfully, the matches got better because they were able to buy more props and have walls. Like they did a new system where you don't have to pound T-posts into the ground. That's worth $5 extra a month for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you set up at all. I mean, that's a simple way to justify the cost, but
Yeah. Well, like our club, we got a trailer for each bay. So now we can park a
what?
trailer each bay, and whenever you're done, you can physically take all the props and stick them on the trailer rather than having to dump them at the end of the bay, then drag trailers around and load them up. It was a hassle. So, like,
Yeah, you guys are so rich. Crazy.
Yeah, they just bought 6 trailers, dude. Come on.
well, hang on. This club's been around for like 20 years, so it's not a new club, but yeah, they got a trailer. It's handy. I mean, it's handy to have enough walls and props that you don't have to, like, drive a truck around before every match and at the end of every match, like picking up all these random props. It's kind of handy.
Yeah, definitely. So this kind of touches on another thing. Is your club actually part of the parent club, or are they something private?
It's not.
It's
Yeah,
not?
so no, so we have a club, and then we have a USPSA club within that club. So like we just basically pay them dues,
Right.
or like
same here.
whatever, like per shooter. Now the problem is when they go up their fees, they're like, hey, we now want $8 instead of $5. Well,
Right.
we got to raise it, but yeah, so we're actually separate from the actual club. So if for some reason it didn't work out, we could jump ship to another range.
Right. Same
Yeah.
here. Anything like that, Nick?
No. Mm-mm.
You guys are all under the parent club?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Really?
all. Yeah. Yeah. We don't around here. We don't have like an outside group that goes around and rents out the range. It's all driven by insiders at the range. Definitely.
Like that IDPA match that you help run, that's a for-profit deal, right, for the range?
The club, the one I run now, yes, it is. It's at a for-profit indoor club. The one I ran before was at a non-profit outdoor club, although it was still a moneymaker for the club.
Yeah, I don't think the nonprofit has much to do with it because, I mean,
Yeah.
technically USPSA is nonprofit, but
Yeah.
Well, the only difference there is that I think that if it's nonprofit, then it's pretty easy to justify dumping a ton of cash into props and stuff, right? But if it's for-profit, then it seems like you'd want to invest less cash into the props
I
or
guess it depends on
whatever.
who's making the profit off of it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
the
that's
club is, and they can, I don't know, justify
then
the
again,
expenses on something.
On the flip side, the parent club, our actual range, decided that they wanted to put on their own Steel Challenge match, and they just went out and bought everything, like a nice enclosed trailer and all these brand new props cash because they had it, right? Because the club
Yeah,
has a ton of
exactly.
money.
Yeah.
Where like we don't have that kind of cash. I mean, we couldn't do that, but
Right.
they did.
Yeah. I don't think props are necessarily integral to the overall quality of a match. I mean, sure, it's nice to have the option, but you know,
No, but
you can put
consistency though
together a
too.
nice
To
match.
have like not shredded sticks and consistent fault line and consistent walls, and you know when things get shot up, you replace it. I mean, that kind of does matter. It does kind of
Yeah.
add to the atmosphere, right? The consistency.
Yeah, you got to have definitely some baseline of decent equipment. That would be a
Yeah,
good match.
definitely. All
All
right.
right, I think we killed this one.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything there. I mean, local competition, does that make any sense to anybody? I mean,
Yeah,
Tim,
man, the
you would
heat. That's
choose
what it
it.
says.
Yeah, but is there that much heat in each division locally? Or you can considering overall?
Okay, well, kind of a little bit overall. So if I drive to Waco, which is pretty far from me, that's an hour and a half. I shot a match there, and there were like 6 GMs. No, they weren't all in production.
Right.
No, maybe there's more. I think there was like 3 open GMs, a limited GM, and like 4 production GMs. Like that's kind of worth the drive just to feel it out because you get guys from Dallas area drive down to that match. So that's probably that's one of the few matches I'll drive that far for because I like to every once in a while gauge that, right, to kind of get a feel. And even if there's not a lot of production GMs, you get, like you guys do, right? You know, kind of where you should finish against those other guys, right? The open guys. And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So
I
I
have a pretty good idea.
paying
and
a
also-
lot more attention to just the inline overall scores of it.
yeah, absolutely. And that feel of that match is totally different than what we have locally. It's just that's an older club, and they like to do some older IPSC style stuff, so they do some wacky stuff, and it's kind of interesting to see that. But mainly, really, I'm driving there for the heat, not for the match style or anything.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd choose it over one or the other. Like if there was a GM that I'd be competing against over another one, I don't know if that would have any effect. I think it'd be like if I was with like my friends there at the match. Which
Yeah,
one?
but you also shoot like 30 majors a year, man.
Yeah,
Like
but
for real,
still.
you shoot crazy. Like your majors are your locals.
Yeah, kind of in a sense.
But for real, like you shoot against the Heat all the time, so it's different for you.
Yeah, I mean it does. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, how many 25 majors? You shot almost as many majors as I shot club matches.
Yeah, you shot more than I did. Twice as many.
In fact, you did shoot more. If you shot 25, I'm sure I didn't shoot 25 club matches. That'd be 2 per
I think
month.
it was like 21 or 22.
That's pretty insane.
But I don't know. I guess it means if I show up to a match, then maybe I guess. And people are going if I'm there.
Well, what you may not know too is maybe people are trying to hunt you down. Maybe people follow you around.
Yeah, it could be.
They would.
I appreciate that. That would actually drive me to get
Tim
better.
Harris would hunt you down again.
That's fine. I would love to have it. You'd have to get rid of that fucking single stack, though.
Team State, P3.
Yeah, he's coming for your ass. Plastic gun and all.
Yeah, true, I guess.
They're faster, remember?
I don't know. We'll see. We were talking about that before the show. I don't have anything else on this topic. You guys got anything?
I'm good.
All right, you want to hit a shooting question right now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. I don't mean to be vague and all, but how do you train with a limited amount of time? Nick,
You go
got
first.
anything on that?
Okay. All right. So we're gonna, since we don't have a more
Yeah, we
detailed
gotta probably set some
breakdown of
parameters.
the time this guy has, I'm going to make some assumptions here. The assumptions are that you have the ability to dry fire, say 3, 4, 5 times a week, and your live fire is going to be what's primarily constricted here from a time constraint. So, say you have 2 hours a week to live fire, and you have 4 or 5, 20-minute dry fire sessions. The way I would break that down, if that's all the time I had, I would spend all of the dry fire time gun handling. So, draws, reloads, kind of position entry, exit, that kind of thing. And then I would spend 75% or more of the live fire time on accuracy and precision shooting at speed, actually driven exercises like, long range bill drills.
25-yard bill drills or something like that.
In terms of drills, I'd want them to be long range, accuracy focused. I would really press down hard on the accuracy aspect in live fire, for sure, at least 75% of the time, whether it would be a stage exercise or whatever. And the reason for that is I'm trying to segregate things into what can be done. I'm going to take everything that can be done in dry fire, force it into dry fire, and then try and spend all my time on things that can only be done in live fire. So that's kind of how I would approach that.
Very good. Tim, this kind of falls into how you are, right?
Yeah, so I have this bad habit of not practicing much until it's right before a major, and then somehow I manage to hit the range like 4 days straight.
Could that be I don't know how to say it, but like you're choosing to take the time then to do it?
I make it happen, right?
Yeah, you're making the time to do it.
I'm not really in this camp because I actually do have time when I want to make time. But I'm in agreement with Nick there. So the only thing I would say is I found that when I utilize my time wisely, like I basically drop the kid off of school, I go straight to the range, I hit the range for an hour, and I go to work, right? So it's pretty efficient. I found doing a lot of drills and, like Nick said, doing more, I don't know, technical stuff, when I got away from doing what I like to do, which is run around and squirt bullets, because that's fun, but it's time consuming. It's a waste of time.
You can do that in dry fire.
I can do it in dry fire, and I wasn't seeing the gains, and I don't know. It just is too time consuming to go out there and set all that junk up and do it, break it down. So when I started doing more accelerator, distance change up, a lot of dots. Now dots you can burn through some ammo, but I would go through sheets of dots, and I saw significant gains in that. So that's what I would do. Honestly, I would come up with some very efficient ways like that. Do a lot of the drills, have that set, and do a lot of dry fire, the high speed stuff, I would say, and do the technical stuff live.
Yeah, and if we're making the assumption that you only have, say, a couple hours a week, obviously you need to have a plan for exactly how you're going to use that time before you get to the range, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one for sure thing. Like, have it wrote down.
I don't do that.
I'm going to do this and this and this and for this specific time.
Yeah, if I only had an hour, Tim, like I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't even. If I only had 1 hour, I would not even try to spend time setting up a stage because that's going to take
no, I don't.
20 minutes of your hour right there.
Yeah, whenever I do the stage stuff, it winds up turning into a 3-hour plus ordeal. It's way too much time.
Yeah.
Now, I may do that before a major. Like, I may do some drills, and then the week of the major, I may do some smaller stage work just to feel comfortable with the running around and coming in and out of position. But for, like, that, when I'm doing my pre-work practice, it's in and out quick. It's get in there, 3 targets, that's all I'm doing, period.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with 3 targets set up, right?
Yeah, that's all I do is 3 targets. And that way it's easier to brass everything. It's just easier, yeah. I agree with you, though. I don't do, when I don't have much time, and I don't think that many people have 3 or 4 hours to burn that have kids and stuff at home.
Yeah, when I'm shooting a stage exercise, it's usually a 3-hour minimum range trip.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I don't really have anything to do that. I think you got to work on the stuff that you're able to. When you're able to live fire, actually work on the shooting part, and then dry fire, work on the stuff besides that, like draws, reloads, into out of position, stuff like that, awkward leans. What I want to add is, what's the minimum time you guys think that somebody can devote to practice to be a top 16 shooter? You've probably thought about that, Nick. Like, what's the least amount I can do to stay kind of where I'm at, you know?
The least amount I can do to stay where I'm at is always the amount I'm doing right now, right?
Well,
the thoughts never entered my head that I can spend less time practicing.
Really?
And either get better or even really maintain. Yeah. So.
Tim, you have any thoughts on that?
I think it's tough.
Yeah, I got thoughts. I think
shoot multiple times a week, honestly.
Yeah.
So the top 16 is interesting because I don't know that you can. I mean, unless you're Todd Jarrett or somebody like. I think to not practice much and stay or to be in the top 16 is unrealistic. I mean, I know guys that have been GMs for a long time and practice, and what's that?
Matt Mink said he shot like 500 rounds before nationals.
I don't know, man. Yeah, but he's been
top 10.
I'm saying realistically.
Nick doesn't believe he actually does that, I bet.
I don't.
I've had 2 top 16 guys tell me that, and I do find it hard to believe. Honestly, I find it really hard to believe.
The thing I think so your descent is this uphill thing, right? And eventually you get to a certain point where your skills will never go back down, and maybe he could be to a certain point where he practices just 500 rounds and his skills are always at that level.
Well,
but if he actually practices and does like 1,000 rounds every 2 days or something, the increase is not going to be significant enough for him to be worth it, you know?
I thought he said he got worse. I thought he said the more he practiced, the worse he got.
He might have.
I'm serious. Maybe he was trolling me, but I swear he told me that. He's like, I shoot a lot, I get worse.
He's got to be messing with you, man. I'll tell you my theory on what Hopkins said there. So I will say this: I think that once you get to a certain level, whatever that is, whatever the highest level you've ever been to, if you stop practicing, I think that you're going to get worse. I think 99 people out of 100 will get worse. Maybe make an exception. I don't know.
Why don't you get better for sure?
You're not getting better.
But how much worse?
I think that you're going to be. I think the effort it takes to get back to that point is going to be less than.
Yes.
What it is to set a new bar.
Yes. I agree with that. Yeah.
So that's why that's why you come out of the off season. It doesn't. Assuming you're trying to hit a new high point at some point. Around nationals, we're working toward peaking at nationals. Okay, we'll say that.
Right.
So say you set a new bar around there. I mean, you're not. You want to be hopefully within 2 or 3 weeks or something like that, you can get back. You can kind of get back to that point by the beginning of next year and kind of start from there. Right. So assuming you're taking some time off.
I think at a certain point, your skills don't what you should be doing at some point, and so I think it does take a lot less time to get back up to where you were.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're ever going to get better by taking time off. I think you'll probably just stay the same at best. Like, if you only shot 500 rounds for the rest of your life, Nick, before nationals, you think you'd be able to maintain?
What do you mean 500 rounds for the rest of my life?
Like, if you didn't do any prep, you just shot 500 rounds and made sure your gun was zero.
Like Mink.
If I stop shooting now, and then I can only shoot 500 rounds between now and nationals.
Yeah.
Would I be any worse than I am right now, or like was last year?
Or this last year.
Yeah, I think it would be worse.
Yeah,
Really?
absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe it could be the years of experience then. Yeah, Matt Mink has shot for so long that he's able to just rely on that experience.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an element of that.
I mean, he does shoot other majors, though. It's not like he's just rolling to nationals and that's the only match he shoots, right?
Right. But he's not shooting like
No, but
500 round practices every 3 days before nationals. He's doing it once, like that's it.
yeah, but didn't Phil one time say that he basically shoots majors as practice and that's all he shot, and he won single stack nationals,
Yeah.
right? That's what he said.
I think there has to be an aspect of what these people are telling you also.
No, I
Might not
agree with
actually be
that.
true.
Doesn't Mink have a range in his backyard?
Yeah, he does. He can walk outside
So,
anytime
he never
wants to,
shoots?
dude. I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting. That's too far.
I had a different former top 16 guy, somewhat recent former top 16 guy, tell me he shot 1,500 rounds the entire year leading up to the Nationals in Utah in 2014.
Yep.
And I started thinking, I've personally seen you shoot 1,500 rounds in major matches so far this year. So that's why I think that you got to take some of that stuff with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
If you want to do well, you got to practice. I mean, that's it. No way around.
I agree. I think this was definitely a very good podcast. Any other questions, answers, I guess?
Oh.
If you want to get a hold of Nick Yanatola out of South Carolina.
Yeah, nailed it, man.
Yes.
First try, I got the pronunciation.
He's on
Clemson, right?
Facebook. You can find him.
Yeah, Clemson, that's right. National champs.
Hold on, they still have one more game to play, right?
Yep. I don't know
Yeah,
when
by the time
airs.
this airs.
They may be national champions by the time this airs.
Well, Nick's gonna call it right now. Clemson national champions.
Give them
Tim
hell on
Myers,
Facebook if they don't win.
Yeah, Tim Myers. You can get him at the Ben Stoeger Pro Shop, or what's your email, Tim?
Shopping at benstoegerproshop.com. Don't email me personally, though.
And ask for Tim on that no matter what you do. He'll answer you.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm at hopkinsshooting.com. If you have any questions or want to do a class, get a hold of me there. If you want to email in your questions, it's benstoeger@gmail.com and benstoeger.com for his classes and everything. Thanks, everybody. Kill it.